2016-2020 strategic plan. So could you briefly share with us the salient components of the 2016-2020 strategic plan?
And thank you very much, Mr. Dzaga. The 2016-2020 strategic plan is a roadmap that allows our university to implement, particularly its academic core project, in a structured manner, but with a view of cementing the position of UNIVEN as a regional university that pays attention to its communities, but also simultaneously transferring skills that are necessary for the socio-economic development of the region that we serve. But as I've always said, simultaneously again preparing our graduates for the global market. So and as you probably know again, this strategic plan was developed in full consultation with all stakeholders, students, staff, the council of this university, but also took into consideration a number of other important documents, such as the Provincial Growth and Development Strategy of our province in Limpopo, took into account the National Development Plan, the South African National Development Plan 2030, and a lot of other documents from the Department of Science and Technology and other papers, white papers, green papers of the Department of Higher Education and Training. I am therefore very confident, Mr. Dzaga, that we are well prepared in the implementation of this strategic plan.
Thank you very much, Prof. It's good to hear that. And I'm sure it's a common knowledge that the 2016-2020 strategic plan is being implemented when South Africa is facing the national #FeesMustFall campaign. So how do you see UNIVEN effectively implementing the strategic plan amidst this campaign?
The three pillars on which the strategic plan of the University of Venda are based on is one, sustainability, the second one is quality, and the third pillar is leadership and governance. Now, sustainability has many facets to it. One, and the most important one, is that there must be resources that ensure the quality delivery of programs. The University of Venda depends on two main streams of income. One is student tuition fees, and secondly is the subsidy that we get from government. The third stream income of our university, and I think largely because of where we are located, is probably about 4%, 5%. So it's not very large and needs to grow. Therefore, the provisions of resources in terms of our ability to deliver our programs is really largely dependent on those two sources of income. We as Vice Chancellors had an opportunity to meet with the State President sometime last year, together with the SRC leadership and chairs of council. And what the State President promised then was that government would look for resources to top up this gap that is going to be created when students do not increase their tuition fees in 2016. And I'm happy to say that government has met its part of the obligation, and the University of Venda's budget in terms of revenue has not been adversely affected because that gap has been filled and government has made that funding available. Of course, the question must be whether this will be sustainable in the long term, because for government to be able to fill that gap, what it means is that it has had to reprioritize. It has had to reprioritize its funding because there is no new money that is coming into the system. The University of Venda will also then have to look at various austerity measures to ensure that we continue to prioritize our academic projects, but at the same time cut down on other type of expenditure, but at the same time focusing on the academic project. I must say, Mr. Dzaga, that there is a danger of inadvertently impacting on the academic project if we do not get enough resources in the long term. And that would impact on the quality of teaching and learning at the university. So my personal view is that with the intervention of government, but with the continued engagement between all stakeholders, and that would be the management of the university, the students themselves, the civil society, parents and guardians, that we will find a way to navigate this challenge that is going to befall the higher education sector. In the short to medium term, I am confident that we should be able to continue to provide quality teaching and learning, but it will mean that there will be some sacrifices that will have to be made by both the staff and the students at the University of Venda.
Thank you very much, Prof. According to the strategic plan, the University of Venda would like to be amongst the top South African universities. How do you see the university achieving this?
This is something that I get very excited about. You know, a couple of years ago, University of Venda, if you looked at various indices, we were probably in the last quadrant, if you want to put it that way. I mean, that's what the statistics were showing. In the last couple of years, we have moved into the middle of the pack. So out of the 23, 25 odd universities, Univen is probably between number 10 to 12, whether it is in our research outputs, whether it is in our graduation rates and so on. So we've done extremely well. To be in the, and I must say again, the University of Venda, and you can feel it as you walk in this institution, the commitment from staff and students, the commitment from management, creating a whole new institutional culture that focuses on the academic core project. I think the way we have constructed our strategic plan, where we lay emphasis on the core programs of the university, but also the quality of the life of our students, coupled with this emerging culture that lays emphasis on the academic core project, together with the growth in the financial resourcing of our university. And again, at this stage, I must give my appreciation to government, and particularly to our Minister of Higher Education and Training, for the large investments in infrastructure. All these things put together and the continued commitment from our staff and students, I have no doubt in my mind that the University of Venda will be a top South African university by 2030. Precisely because we do not, and if you look at our strategic plan, we do not want to, we are not imitating ourselves to be a type of University of Cape Town here, or a University of Pretoria or Wits. Univen growing and taking advantage of its own unique location, and also developing its own niche academic and research programs, is going to differentiate itself from the rest of the South African higher education sector and really excel. So with a combination of those factors, Mr. Dzaga, I am very confident that we will be among the top South African universities. Of course, this means, again, emphasis on the quality of our training, emphasis on good leadership and governance at the University of Venda, but also issues around sustainability in the manner that we conduct our business at our institution.
Prof, in the process of crafting the 2016-2020 strategic plan, did you take into cognizance the national priorities, which includes, amongst others, issues pertaining to education, health, issues of economic development, as well as job creation? If so,
yes.
How are you going to accommodate this problem?
Yes, no, absolutely yes. in the construction of our strategic plan, we've taken many factors into consideration. And in fact, top among those are national priorities. So if you look, for example, at the strategic objective on quality teaching and learning, we are also introducing a number of new innovative programs. If you look at programs such as agricultural engineering, programs such as the SAICA accredited BCom accounting programs. If you look at a host of other new programs that we want to introduce within, for example, we're going to introduce mining engineering. In the health sciences, there's a number of new programs that we want to cover. So yes, first of all, being able to produce skilled graduates that, in terms of seeking employment, have a greater opportunity, a greater chance in terms of employability. But also, we are introducing programs, Mr. Dzaga, in our strategic plan around entrepreneurship, so that beyond being employed, our graduates also will be able to create jobs themselves. So you have graduates that have a good sense of entrepreneurship. Health issues are very important. You must have a population that is healthy to be able to really talk about good economic growth and development. And I think the way that we have constructed our programs in the School of Health Sciences, for example, our contribution to the health of our communities is guaranteed. By the way our curriculum is constructed in, for example, the School of Health Sciences, right from a very developmental stage of the students in nursing, for example, working in hospitals, getting that experiential learning, and already contributing to the health of our communities even when they're still students. And by the time they graduate and get into the workplace, into our communities, contributing to the health of our societies. And I could give you many more examples around how those national priorities have been incorporated into our strategic plan at the University of Venda.
Prof, lastly, are there any provision in the 2016-2020 strategic plan to leverage on the university alumni to support the university students?
Yes, there is, and I think it falls under the strategic objective on financial sustainability. A successful university is a university that must necessarily have a very strong alumni base. And I'm very glad to say that gradually the university is doing very well in reaching out to its alumni and saying, we need you to continue to grow. So in our strategic plan, we do lay that emphasis on the need to continue to leverage on our alumni. And last year, for example, we have ventured into some of our neighboring countries. We were in Zimbabwe last year launching the Zimbabwe International Student Chapter Alumni. In the country, we've done very well. A lot of alumni chapters, and you, Mr. Dzaga, have been in the forefront of assisting us in this. We've set up a number of chapters in the country. I'm very excited that we're actually now going outside the boundaries of the country, where we have alumni. But they are a very important base for the sustainability of this university. But also they create a lot of opportunities for our students that are still here, whether it is to create opportunities for internships, opportunities for further growth and development. But they can also sometimes come here and give special lectures. There's a number of ways that we can leverage on our alumni.
Thank you very much. Prof, are there any issues or any information that you would like to share with us regarding the implementation of the strategic plan?
The success of the strategic plan is dependent on all of us playing our role. It's not the Vice Chancellor alone, it's not management alone, it is really everybody. And my plea is that all of us embrace this document as our document. The students have a role to play there. The student leadership, management of the university, main staff, support staff, academic staff, and even members of our own community. So my plea would be that all stakeholders familiarize themselves deeply with the document. It's a very user-friendly document. It's very easy to read. It's a very nice document to read. If everybody can read it and see how they can make a contribution and leave a legacy for our university, so that many years down the line, everybody can say, oh, during that time, this is the little role that I played, and that's why we have this great university, the University of Venda.
Prof, thank you very much for making time to talk to us, more especially considering you are very tight schedule. So this brings us to the end of our interview.
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate the interview and to express my appreciation on the publicization that you want to make of the strategic plan. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much.